Hi, we're back with question 2 on myimaths homework. Um, these are the harder questions. They require you to not only just simply get angles, you have to analyze the problem first, figure out what the question is asking you, what you need in order to get back the value at the end. So we're going to look at the second two. All of these are involving angles, so we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. We have right angled triangles. Let's look at the first one. So it's asking you to work out x. Now, you have to analyze the problem first. We've been given a rectangle, and we've been given the two sides. In this case, we could argue that, well, vertically opposite angles are equal, so this is also x. In order to get this x, we have to use the fact that this is an isosceles triangle, and I've called this angle theta. That means this angle is also theta. So we have an isosceles triangle, two angles theta, here and here. And angles in a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. So here we go. If we take 180 degrees, if we subtract off both of these, 2 theta, we'll end up with the angle in question. Now, here is our triangle that we're talking about. This is a right angle triangle. Okay? Here it is. Now you extract that out. This is the angle we're looking for. With respect to this angle, 17 is the opposite and 13 is the adjacent. At this point, you should be pretty good at this. This is the opposite and this is the adjacent, so that's tan. Tan is what we're looking for. Make our substitutions. So the tan of theta is the opposite, 17 is the opposite, divided by the adjacent, 13. Now to do the rearranging here, we have to do the inverse operation. The inverse of the function tan is tan inverse. On your calculator, it's the shift button along with tan. 17 divided by 13. Type that into your calculator and you should get 52.59 da-dee-da-dee-da. However, I'd leave that in the answer button possibly, or I would simply use this value in my calculation for x, because you don't want to round until the very end of the question. So, for the angle x, we already know it's 180 minus 2 times this value. Now I've done it like this, so you can type this directly into your calculator, okay? And then you're not rounding until the very end of the question. And that is 75 degrees, and the question asks for the nearest degree, so 75 degrees. Okay? So that was this one. Now I'd like to look at the second one. So there's two triangles to consider in this second one. We've got the bigger triangle, okay, which is this one, ACB, the bigger triangle. And we've got this little triangle here. They're both right-angled triangles. This one is the little triangle. We've got to consider both of those triangles. Now, if I can get the big value here, I've called this angle Z. This is the whole angle of the big triangle. Called that Z. And then I've called the little angle here of the smaller triangle, called that Y. If I take Z and I subtract off Y, I'll end up with X. Okay? So now let's try and find Z. Again, we're trying to find an angle here. So I have the opposite and I have the adjacent. This again is tan. Okay? So I have the opposite and the adjacent, that's tan. So the tan of Z is 18 divided by 27, opposite over adjacent. When you want to rearrange this, you have to do the inverse of tan. 18 divided by 28. Shift tan in your calculator. I'm just going to leave it like that because I'm not going to round until the very end. This one's identical, except instead of 18 we have 9. So it's identical. It's going to be the inverse tan of 9 over 28 this time. There it is. So now, to get x, we have to take z and subtract off y. We take z, which is this one, and subtract off y, which is this one. So type that directly into your calculator. Round your answer, and your answer should round to 15 degrees to the nearest degree. And that's how you do those two questions in myimaths. You should give the third one a try yourself, okay? See if you can find this value. Where can you find your right-angled triangle? And now, here are all the answers. Okay, bye.